I love foam clay. The texture, the stretchiness, and the fluffy results you get from it keep me coming back to it, although I'm not the best at it. I mean, I can't even get it to be perfectly smooth yet. But I think my ideas are solid, so I share them because maybe in the hands of a more talented crafter, they could really shine. So let's get started and get creative with foam clay. I found these little bags of foam clay at my local craft store and I decided to give them a try and see if they were any good. Some colors looked a little sus, but hey, you never know, so I decided to try them anyhow. I am also using these little suitcases that I used in one of the first videos for my channel. When I started this channel, I posted 4 videos on the first day of going live, and one of these videos was making birthday cards using these. So today I'm going to use them again. They will still be gifts, but these are completely different ideas. I started by testing out these tiny magnets. I wanted to see if we were going to be able to hold through the plastic because I had an idea on how to use them. But this idea slowly fell apart. This video was supposed to be fun and easy, but it became really challenging for me, and you'll be the judge at the end if it was a fail or not. Right now, as I'm editing, I'm at a 50-50. Anyhow, for the first suitcase, I chose this pink and I wanted to desaturate it a little bit, so I grabbed some white foam clay from a different package. And you can see this clay was so sticky, it felt like putting my hand into a Miracle Whip tub. It still worked, especially once I mixed it with the pink. It started to get off my hands and be more solid. And I was able to roll it into a ball. I also got some black because I want to use this little suitcase as a travel tic-tac-toe set. So I rolled some strips that I wanted to put on the inside of the suitcase. But I immediately changed my mind about this because the strips were not staying where they were supposed to. It was hard to get them to look okay. Overall, I wasn't loving, so I changed plans. I roughened up the front of the suitcase a little bit by sanding it and then added white glue on top so I could get the clay to stick. Grabbed the pink ball of clay and flattened it out so I could cover the entire front with it. For some reason, this was really hard to do. I couldn't get it to be smooth. I tried to smooth it out with a little bit of water, and that just ruined it further. So I ended up taking everything out, grabbing more of that insanely weird and sticky, slimy white clay, mixing more pink into it, and then rolling it out again and putting it back on the suitcase. The second time was better, it's smoother. I was about to cut the leftover clay from the sides and then I realized it's just way too soft for me to be able to cut it without changing the shape of it too much. Maybe that's why I ruined it on the first time, I'm not sure. But I let it dry a bit before I cut it and I decided to score the tic-tac board on top of the suitcase instead of making it with lines. But again, the clay was way too soft, so I left it alone for a little while before trying to do the rest of the lines. While that happened, I grabbed some white foam clay and I filled the suitcase with it. I tried my best to have a nice even surface, but not great. I was ready to cut out the edges, so I did that and I also cleaned them up a bit. Then I went ahead and scored the 3 remaining lines to create the tic-tac-toe board, which I slowly sculpted and made it nicer. Then I added a tiny magnet into each of the squares from the board. Then I mixed a little bit more of pink clay, which I made darker by using the ink of my acrylic paint marker, and I modeled tiny hearts that I used to cover all of the magnets. While everything dried, it was time to make the pieces for the game. For the circle pieces, I rolled 5 green balls of clay, all about the same size because I thought it would be really easy to model little frogs out of them. So once I had the balls, I just used my tools to push in the top of each ball to form the frog's eyes. Then again, with the tools, I pushed back to create the eye sockets and added tiny balls of white clay to them. For some of the frogs, I added little pieces of pink clay to create some rosy cheeks, and for one of them, I even added a cute little bow made of clay. Then, when they were all done, I again add a tiny little magnet to each one on its bottom. For the crosses, I rolled tiny balls of clay again, which I've reshaped into teardrops and pushed in with a toothpick. Then I joined all of them to create a tiny flower with a white ball of clay in the center. Once I had all 5 flowers done, again I put magnets on each. I'm adding magnets onto everything because if you're going to travel with this, you don't want the pieces to fall off if you're in the car or whatever. Here's everything now dried on the next day. So it was time to draw smiles and tiny eyes on top of all of the frogs to finish them. And done! You play by attaching each piece to where you want it, and because of the magnets, they stay in place. When you are done playing with everything, you put it back on the suitcase, and yeah, that was the first idea. Not that bad, right? It doesn't look like it because this is edited, but that first idea really took a toll on me because even though it works and it's kind of cute, it wasn't what I envisioned at all, and it took me so many hours to create. It's weird, it looks great on video, but I felt so drained after the first one, so I went for the simpler one for the second idea. This is a cute birthday gift. For it, I mixed a bunch of pink clay again. I again lined the suitcase with it. This time I think I did a better job. It's a thicker lining, almost like a vase, and it looks better and smoother. Then I grabbed some purple, which I again mixed with white to make it lighter, and rolled it into a ball, which I flattened, creating a cylinder base. With the base ready, I got a birthday candle and its holder from a birthday candle set I bought. I stuck the plastic candle holder in the middle of the cylinder with a little bit of glue, and because I want this to look like a cake, I grabbed white clay and again I started to roll little balls into teardrop shapes, which I joined together in a long strip. Once the chain of teardrop pieces was done, I placed it around the bottom of my cake to make it look like frosting. Cut the excess off, and again with a little glue I put the cake into the suitcase. I add a couple more teardrops on top of the cake to have more decorations on it, and then I'm going to use nail polish to paint the lid of the suitcase because I don't want to leave it transparent and reveal the surprise inside. Next day and everything is dry, so to finish this little present I'm going to add a bit of glue to the front and some ribbon. While that dries, I cut a piece of paper to write a birthday message, glued that inside, and I also cut a piece of the scraper paper from a matchbox and add matches so you can strike them, and light this candle that I'm now going to tie with the ribbon that I glued in the front. That's our second gift of the day. I think it's so cute. I think it's my favorite of the day. You can give this little box to someone on their birthday so they can have their birthday wish on their go. I think it's just too cute. I would definitely smile big if someone gave me a little box holding a candle and matches on my birthday. It's a lovely thing to receive. But next, yet another gift with clay and a little suitcase. But of course, you don't have to use these tiny plastic suitcases. You can use an Altoids box or any little box you have laying around your house. I'm just using these suitcases because I still have some left over. But back to the idea, I'm rolling balls of clay because I'm creating some clouds. Super simple, clustering them together as I roll them until I get a nice shape that looks almost like a cloud. I made 3 of those, and to attach them to the suitcase, I added white glue because I thought it was gonna dry clear. I pushed the clouds in place and then moved on to create a hot air balloon for the front. The idea here is to create a travel theme case for a gift. To make the hot air balloon, I first shaped it with some random clay and then covered it with tapered coils of clay. Or I tried to because I failed at the first attempt and then managed to get it right on the second one. Then I sticked a toothpick snapped in half into it and sculpted a rounded square for the basket, which I poked on the other side of the sticks. To attach it to the front of the suitcase, I sanded a bit to create a rough texture for the glue to hold on, and I put the balloon in place. I didn't want the front of the suitcase to be see-through again, so I mixed some blue clay and I stick it to the back of the clouds so I would have a solid background and you won't be able to see inside. At least that was the plan. Now, I'm going to be completely honest, the idea for this gift was to have some foam clay magnets on the inside, but for whatever reason, I was drained from modeling already. It wasn't feeling as joyful as I wanted it to feel. I was super excited by all of the ideas I came up with, but somehow it wasn't coming together, so I thought I would give my brain a break and do something else. I was watching old videos from Mariah Elizabeth as I crafted, and I think that was why it felt better to make some shrink plastic magnets. I hadn't used shrink plastic with color pencils in a while, but I really wanted to do it for this. But honestly, it's brutal on your hands. I think I won't do it again. I'm sticking to painting them with paint markers like I did on my last video because that worked like a dream. I drew some travel themed cute things and then I cut them and of course stick them into the oven. They shrunk perfectly, so I glued some larger magnets to the back and then I put those into the little suitcase for the gift. I also added some paper clips and a tiny highlighter and made it like a set. I don't know why, I just thought it would be cute. No, okay, maybe I thought I needed to add more things because I was disappointed about not following through with my original idea of making foam clay magnets. Also, the front looks bad because, surprise, the glue did not dry clear. Bummer. A fail? Maybe. I don't know why I wasn't feeling it. I loved creating these other travel thing magnets a while ago. I don't know. I'll link that video in case you want to see me have fun making foam clay magnets. Because I did not know that glue was not gonna dry clear, I moved on to my next idea where I used it too. Oh no, right? Well, for this one, I modeled a lot of little white balls. No, they're more like beans. Beans that I turned into cute little pandas with some black clay. These were somewhat easy to make because, it's only black and white and you only have to add circles or half circles to a larger white circle. So easy peasy. Pushed in again on the eyes to create the eye sockets and then added little white balls of clay into them. I also added pink for the cheeks. And then I thought I would use the tiny point of my mechanical pencil to poke centers on them, and that looked terrible. I was laughing so much at how weird that looks, so I ended up just going with the tiny balls of clay. I modeled all of the pandas and I have no idea why I only used clay for the white parts of the first panda. And then for the rest, I decided it would be smart to do it with the paint marker. It looks so weird, I was laughing all the way through this. Also, because I'm impatient, I did not wait for that paint marker to dry properly, and that was a big mistake at the end. I put glue all over the front of that suitcase too, and then I started to add the pandas in. The idea was to make them look like they were all crammed in there, fluffy and struggling. I thought it was gonna be cute, and you can see it kinda did, but as soon as I look at the front, I realized the white paint not drying was a bad idea because most of the eyeballs are now smudged and messy. I decided to trust the freaking process and cover the spaces you could see through with purple clay. That would keep the contents of the suitcase as a surprise. Well, as you know, the next day I discovered the glue did not dry clear at all. I can still see bits of glue on the panda case, and that mixed with the white paint, well, it's quite a mess. Do they even still look like pandas? I don't think so. It looks like a hot mess to me, but I decided to carry on and just finish the idea because maybe we can revisit it, or maybe you can make this and it will look better. Learn from my mistakes. I filled the case with the little things I bought to make a tiny sewing kit. And yeah, here it is, done. Poor pandas. At one point, I thought I would pull it out and maybe the whole thing would come out in one piece and I could see how I could fix it, but no. It was going to get destroyed if I pulled it out, so that's it. I'm gonna have to live with the results until maybe I try again. I have 2 tiny suitcases left, so who knows. These are the suitcases I made today. I still think they're solid ideas, but the execution wasn't great. They are fun little gifts, but I don't know about the results. Are they better than the first suitcase cards I made? You tell me. For me, the birthday suitcase is the best. I really like that one. The tic-tac-toe was okay too, and the other 2, well, Let me know what you think in the comments, and with that, I'll see you next week with a brand new video. Hope you're having the most wonderful day. Bye!